Hi, welcome to LA Trade Tech real-time videos, summer 2015. I'm gonna show you first exercise how to generate a design composition based on the Fibonacci series. You can Google the Fibonacci series and learn more about this very important concept. Right here, my favorite one, Doodling in Math, Spirals Fibonacci, and it talks about how basically Fibonacci series are a process, a pattern, a sequence, and a growth found in nature, your body, and the universe. Okay, so we're going to use those principles to generate a simple composition because our eye is trained to follow order and harmony. So when we look at architecture, objects, visual design, even fashion, anything you can think about that follows these principles is very pleasing to the eye. So this is AutoCAD Architecture. Previous versions were called AutoCAD Architecture Desktop. And we're going to start a new drawing. And the reason we want to start a new drawing is because I want to show you something very important, which is called a template, just like a template for PowerPoint. You can, this is basically inches and feet. This is also inches and feet, but it kind of follows more global standards. And this, it doesn't matter which one you choose. But basically, when you choose a template, it's also already going to have the settings that you want to use. So you want to open that one. And this is an educational product, meaning that you cannot have clients and make money out of it. And you're going to say continue. And there is your screen. So basically, Autodesk, you have your ribbons up here. And these are your different tabs to draw, to build. And this is basically where you actually get to draw. And something I'm missing here is my command line. See my command line, but I'm going to start. Let's see if it comes up in a second. So what I'm going to start is by first setting up my screen, and right here these are called my setting tabs, and it's kind of confusing because when you turn it on and off you don't really know unless you move your cursor away from it. So here we're gonna, and then this is sometimes gets on the way. This is the Microsoft tab. So you can just move it to the side so it doesn't conflict as much. And then you want to right click on this one that has that little star, and you got to go to the settings, and you're going to go to the first one to change your snap grid to 1 inch, and then your grid to 1 inch, and then we're going to do 4. So we're going to be dividing the grid into the inch into 4 parts. So it means that 1 inch will have 4 parts, quarter of an inch. Okay, so notice here how your grid changes: 1, 2, 3, 4, then a larger grid. And it's kind of cool now because now you have a grid that you know that each of these little squares are what? 1 by 1, right? 1 inch by 1 inch. So now you can say this is 1 by 1. If you draw another one, right, this will be 4 by 4. And then the next thing I want you to become familiar, again, this is introduction basic architecture, is to understand how do we view an object, how do we view a geometry. And this is called your view box. You can look at it from the top, you can look at it from the left, the front, you can look at it from the left, from the right. And basically, just like this box moves, your object also moves. And these are called orthographic projections. And notice that you want to read about what is an orthographic projection, right? Because it's an abstraction that we created as humans to document the built environment. But our eyes really never see orthographically at an object. We always look with a perspective. So just research more and know more about that concept. Tools mean nothing without knowing concepts anymore. Those technical jobs are over. Technicians need to be critical thinkers, and that's what they're called, the knowledge workers. So here is the next drawing. This is a 3D representation, and these are called axonometrics and isonometrics. So also look what axonometrics are. And then now that you have your drawing on a three-dimensional, then you can actually choose any of these. And here's my command line, and this command line can be moved around. And you're gonna type the word extrude. So basically, literally, you're going to extrude. You're gonna choose the object, and then the machine doesn't tell you anything else. You gotta know that all you need to do is press enter. And then the machine will talk back to you and say, well, how tall do you want it to be? So if we want to make a cube, what will be the height? We said this is 3 inches, right? So if we want to make a cube, the height will be what? 3 inches, right? Oh, I made a mistake because it was 4. But you get the concept, right? But now we want to make a composition that follows the Fibonacci series. So what we're going to do, just very quickly, you're going to do 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 3. And then you can right click and you can say repeat the rectangle. And 2 plus, oh, I made a mistake here because this is not 3, right? So this has to be 2 plus 1 is 3. So I didn't make a rectangle, so I'm gonna go escape. And I don't have my undo button, so I'm just gonna click on it and I'm gonna go delete. So I wanna draw, and what happens is that my screen, you guys see on your smartboard, is actually a square, but my screen is a little bit distorted, so it kind of is tricking me here. So you wanna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There you have it. Then 3 plus 2 is 5. So this is the first growth of the Fibonacci series. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So now you have like a simple growth, and then you want to extrude these parts. So when we extrude them, I hear you type the word extrude, you want to also follow those Fibonacci series. So you can make these ones very tall, and you can make it 21. 21 plus 13 is 37. You can make it 37 inch. And then you will make a big column. Enter. And then you'll say 37 inches. Right? And then this one, you can extrude. And what's another Fibonacci series? And you can type enter. And you can make it, oops, I didn't want it that way. So I'm gonna choose that one, delete. And I don't know where is my back. There is an undo arrow usually right here that we lost it yesterday. So that's good that it happens, so you guys can see what do you do when that happens. You can type here whatever you want. This is called the search button, and you wanna type the undo. And then everything that has to do with undo will come here. The undo command. I'm not gonna do it right now, but it's good that it happened to me because that's how you would do it. So with this, you can see just becoming familiar with the concept of the top view. Notice how nothing happens because these are 2D. And then this is your front. These are called views. When you talk about a building, they're called elevations. And then once you have your basic composition, you can actually choose all of that, right click, copy with a base point, and you choose that base point, and then you can paste it. And then once you paste it, then you can choose the kiddo parts, and you can continue manipulating your composition. And that's where I'm going to end up right now. That was the first exercise to get one of an existing design composition and virtualize it, digitize it, make a building information model. Not necessarily the only information is the geometry. Later on, you can add more information to the model. And that concludes the first assignment. Thank you.